Hello, welcome to this severe weather update for the US and some stuff in Canada. So let's see the severe weather. First, we have that big enhanced risk there. So today, uh, uh, from like Oklahoma, Texas, Missouri, and Arkansas, a marginal risk from Texas to Illinois, and a slight risk from Texas to Missouri. So let's see. We have the 30% wind threat and 15% for some damaging winds and also 5%. So please be careful with the winds. The tornadoes 10, 5 and 2%. So that area of 10% is hatched for potential some EF2 to EF5 tornadoes possible near Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and northern Texas. So please be careful in those areas. And a 2% tornado from Texas to Illinois. So please be careful there. Here, uh, down here, you can see the biggest cities and states there. They'll be affected, and same goes for wind, hail, and the general outlook. So let's see. Tornadoes, some strong, large hail, severe thunderstorm gusts are expected today into tonight, and from the southern plains, Ozarks, Mississippi Valley. So please stay safe in those areas. Be careful. The discussion always updates along the day, but they now have morning water vapor imagery shows a deep upper trough over the southern Rockies with strong mid upper level jets surrounding the base of the trough moving into western Texas at the surface of the primary boundary extends from central Oklahoma southward into west central Texas. Strong southern level low level winds to the southeast of the surface boundary will maintain a moisture, a relatively unstable air mass, and a relatively wide area, leading to a rather active severe weather event later today as upper speed max approaches. Morning convection and associated boundaries are complicating the forecast for central Oklahoma, leading to uncertainty of how far west the intense convection can form. Nevertheless, pockets of daytime heating and dew points in the upper 60s will result in rapid thunderstorm development by early afternoon across east central Oklahoma, part of northern Texas. These storms will likely be a mix of linear bone structures and discrete supercells. Forecasts surrounding suggest a low, deep layer shear profiles more than sufficient for tornadoes, and damaging winds and some hail. Strong tornadoes will be possible. The activity will spread northeastward into the evening parts of western Missouri, Arkansas, with continued risk of damaging winds and tornadoes, some strong along the primary convective line, and discrete storms ahead of the line. So please stay safe there, and please be careful. The HER does show a lot of storms already happening, some rain there, so there's a lot of stuff showing on. Shows like a system in the northwest there, parts of western Canada, shows some rain in central Canada, some rain in east central Canada, shows some storms right near Indiana and Michigan, some showers there, shows some things in New Mexico, and the storms in Oklahoma and Texas there. So a lot of stuff going on, and then later it takes that first line of storms further north there, like in Missouri and, and Illinois. There's that line there, but that line, like this line here, it might have some severe stuff, but the real like severe weather will will be later as those lines of more severe storms that develop across Oklahoma and those areas. So as you can see, like south does show this is now. Later today, these storms start forming, and you can see these structures on the HER. They look like supercells by the shape of this. Show some in Arkansas too, but mainly that line forming Texas with those supercells we have a lot of severe potential. That shows the line over Oklahoma too, some more stars. Then later, in the afternoon and evening, does show like those two lines starting to come together. So northern Texas and also central eastern Oklahoma, and those supercells scattered there and more along the line. So Those are stars are the like the main risk areas should they shows northern Texas, but especially those supercells in Oklahoma there. So like this is then the later the two lines keep moving there, more probably more with chance for discrete supercells in the first line, but more storms with wind and tornadoes in the second one too. And be careful with hail in the storms as well. And then later shows this line extending all the way to central Texas and but the worst on northern Texas and Oklahoma. This is tonight, right? So like uh, later this keeps going throughout the night into tomorrow, and does show those thunderstorms extending all the way down to southern Texas, but those there who will likely not be severe. The severe ones will be still further north in Arkansas, Missouri, and those areas. So be careful. This continues going. There's still some storms tomorrow. Parts of Louisiana and Mississippi and Arkansas and even in Tennessee, some storms there in southeastern Texas still tomorrow. So be careful. Maybe some more storms near Houston and some other areas. So be aware. Now, let's see a little bit further north. So like eastern, just corners. So yeah, shows those storms there. More parts of Missouri and northern Oklahoma. Maybe some storms in Kansas too. Shows later in the evening, like those storms northwestern Arkansas might have the greater tornado potential, along with the ones in Oklahoma and northern Texas. It shows in Missouri some a discrete storm or two, but mainly within that line, the chance for tornadoes and everything. And this is alright during the night. Still shows the line of storms there, and there's a small chance for like nocturnal tornadoes too, parts of Missouri and Arkansas especially. So be careful. Have your alerts active during the night and everything. So stay safe. And then this goes tomorrow. There shows more rain in like the Great Lakes and those areas tomorrow, and the system will move into Canada there. So be aware and stay safe. Now south again here, like the max wind gusts shows those storms today there isn't showing as crazy winds as yesterday, but does show some strong winds eastern Oklahoma, some spots in northwestern Arkansas could have some significant gusts, could some bright purple spots there are close to like 70 to 80 mile per hour gusts. So be careful. Storm watch in Texas as well. Here, central northern Texas, and yeah, then later tomorrow it goes away there. So be careful. Northwest here goes. So outside of those areas, we might have some more strong winds like near Indiana, Illinois. Maybe not from storms, but just like strong winds, or maybe from storms too. So be aware. It shows those very strong winds in the northwest there, parts of Washington and Oregon, especially Montana. Those like 60 to 70 mile per hour gusts in the mountains, northern Colorado as well. So be aware in the mountains of the northwest. So yeah, stay safe with the storms. Let's just see like the significant tornado parameter with the her already shows some parameters there now, especially in Oklahoma and Texas. And then a little bit later today, let's see here. So that does show more parameters like Oklahoma and eastern Oklahoma. There's some more colorful spots there, some greater tornado potential. So be careful on eastern Oklahoma today there. Have a lot of alerts available and everything. So in a shelter, in a plan to stay safe. So let's see, this is still like late afternoon. Then like into the evening still shows a little bit higher to those tornado parameters, especially in Arkansas and eastern Oklahoma. Shows more values on northern Texas, some areas there of central northern Texas, especially in Arkansas, southwestern Missouri, and eastern Oklahoma there. So be careful. And later, this is right during the night. Let's go a tiny bit earlier if it loads. So yeah, this is right like late evening, and shows still some parameters near like in Arkansas, northwestern Arkansas especially, later in the evening and during the night. Still some small parameters in Texas and Missouri. So be careful those areas. Now the upchat listed that indicates like severe storms with hail, wind, and everything. Let's see the full run here when it loads. So let's see here. So it does show those more severe storms parts of eastern Oklahoma, central Oklahoma, and southwestern Missouri and northern Texas, showing a lot in northeastern Texas. So be aware that there's like here. Let's see. Okay, so maybe here again some cape. So this is the surface based cape. Does show this is already tomorrow. Let's put like this evening. See what it shows. So yeah, here. So it does show more cape around Texas, but in Oklahoma too, and parts of Arkansas, but a little bit earlier in the late afternoon. Let's take a look. That does show more Cape Central Texas into Oklahoma, close to like 2,000 joules per kilogram in some areas, so more Cape there. There's like the mixed layer Cape. Uh, let's see. So doesn't show as much as the surface based Cape, but does show more central northern Texas there and more Cape in those areas, and into like the early to mid evening does show like still some Cape there, and there's like the most unstable Cape. Let's see if it loads. Yeah, shows more like late afternoon better. So here, so it does show some higher values of most unstable Cape, close to 2,000 joules per kilogram, near uh, eastern Oklahoma and Arkansas, parts of eastern Texas there. So be careful those areas. And now here, and like they mentioned there in the Storm Prediction Center, the shear in those areas is also good for tornadoes, especially like northern Texas, eastern Oklahoma, and Arkansas into Missouri. And here, let's see. So this mainly it. Stay safe there. There are some different forecasts too. This like the Colorado State University. They do have some higher hail probabilities, like in, in New Mexico and Texas there, but that's not where most of the storms will be at. I don't think this is up there because this is Sunday, November 3rd, so don't mind that. That's not up there. But like day two, let's see if it's up there. So day two for Monday, they do have it now. So Monday, they have all the 15% tornado probabilities, 5%. So they have some very high, especially in Arkansas, that they have some higher tornado probabilities there. So be aware, that's a little bit higher than the Storm Prediction Center, but you never know. There's some other forecasts here, like NATOcast. The last update from NATOcast, they had all the way to 60% tornado threat near eastern Oklahoma. So that's very, very high. But those are some experimental models. It's not an official forecast, but just by seeing that, you know there's a high probability of tornadoes today. So please stay safe. And earlier forecast showed like 30% in some hatched areas there. So be careful those areas. And now for tomorrow, because I only showed today. So tomorrow there's still a marginal risk in Wisconsin and a marginal risk in Texas, Louisiana, parts of Arkansas, and Mississippi. So tornado threat is still 2% in both of those areas for Tuesday tomorrow. So be aware. And wind threat also 5%, and hail less than 5%. So be aware, a brief tornado or two locally damaging winds may occur Tuesday across parts of the Sabine to Lower Mississippi valleys, central to southern Wisconsin. So be careful there. Day 3, just more general storms in the south, and they have a small marginal risk in the Keys in Florida for Hurricane Raphael that will pass nearby. So low probability tornado risk may develop Wednesday over the lower Florida Keys association with tropical depression 18 that was recently designated today. They're expected to become a hurricane. So be careful there. They just posted a tornado watch here as I speak for those areas. So this link is in the description. You can check the watches and everything. The fire weather is still elevated in Southern California. Some gusty winds and dry conditions for today, Monday, and Tuesday a little bit further north into California. There's some elevated fire danger, and day 3 is critical in Southern California. Again, they're a critical area. So be careful. And yeah, there's this other view from the HUR. It shows that heavier snow, parts of Washington and Oregon, and parts of northern New Mexico. That shows the snow through Colorado, and the severe storms there. It does have some periods of freezing rain in Quebec. There's some snow there as well. So this is interesting. Now, like the excess rainfall, they have a moderate today, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Arkansas, especially there, yeah, and a slight from like Texas to Michigan, and a marginal from Texas to Michigan. So be careful, they have a marginal in New Mexico and Texas too. Day 2, another marginal from Texas to Indiana. Day 3, a marginal in Florida, and like Georgia, those areas. As I mentioned in the tropics video, the moisture surge that will happen there. Day 4, another marginal in the southeast and in the central plains again. And day 5, another marginal in the central areas. So be careful with heavy rain and flash flooding. This is today, Monday. They do show close to 5 inches in Missouri there, and 4, 3, 5 inches near Arkansas too, and a lot in Oklahoma and some areas. So be careful. Uh, a lot of those areas, like all the way from Texas to Michigan. So be careful. So heavy precipitation in the northwest too, mostly snow, but there will be more rain as well. Show some rain in the southeast for Tuesday tomorrow. Shows already some rain in Florida there, some more thunderstorms and more for the rest of that front there in the central US, and some in the northern US, in the northwest there. So be aware. Wednesday is very interesting because we might have the moisture surge near Georgia, South Carolina. They'll show close to 4 inches in parts of Georgia for Wednesday, and eastern Florida some more rain too, and near the Keys there because of Raphael. So this Wednesday, Thursday does show still some rain in the southeast, and does have another system like the central plains. Maybe some severe weather again there on Thursday or Friday, but or it might be just general rain and storms, but there might be a low and severe weather there. And then this is next Saturday, still shows general rain, central US and the northwest. Day 6, some more rain parts of the eastern US and the northwest. And day 7, so in the Gulf, more in the northwest there, and more in the eastern US. So be aware. Day 1 through 7, there are a lot of areas to highlight. Shows first in the northwest, so high precipitation there, those Pacific systems. There are parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Colorado. This is some higher totals this week, close to 4 or 5 inches because of this system. Shows either 5 to 7 inches in Missouri there. The next few days, all the way to Michigan, a lot of rain for that system there. More in Tennessee and some areas, and like Georgia, South Carolina, shows close to 4 inches these next few days, and eastern Florida too. So be careful those areas, and there might still be changes with this forecast. So be aware. But let's see here. There are those high snowfall probabilities today in parts of Washington and Idaho and Montana and also New Mexico, southern Colorado. So be careful those areas, especially northern Washington. They choose still in Montana some more snow, in Colorado, still parts of Idaho, Wyoming, and some areas. Day 3 shows more in Colorado, New Mexico. Day 4 more comes New Mexico, there Colorado. Day 5 still Colorado, New Mexico, some in Washington. Day 6 shows more the Northwest, and day 7 more the Northwest. So beware of the snow there. Shows like, yeah, so be aware. The overview does show those areas of heavy snow possible Monday today across the Northwest and Colorado, New Mexico. And day 2, actually 2 days, show the flooding and severe weather, mixed precipitation in the Northeast. And day 2 shows a lot of areas of snow in the west there, some areas of heavy snow and the general rainstorms. And shows still Wednesday some more rain, snow, and some heavy snow in some areas there. So be aware those areas. Now let's take a look here at the hazards. So day 3 through 7 does show severe weather, the heavy rainfall, and the heavy snow there, and some high winds in Alaska and heavy precipitation. Day 8 through 14 does show some high winds, the northwest and Alaska, and heavy precipitation, the northwest. So be aware those areas now. Uh, Shows those higher temperatures still, like the southern US, some days, especially southern Texas, close to 90, shows colder in the mountains there of the northwest and those areas, the Rockies and everything. And then Monday to Tuesday morning, like tonight to tomorrow, does show like those colder temperatures across the west, and like northern Maine might get some 30s too, but especially like with parts of the plains, some 20s, and especially the mountains there, some 20s and teens in the Rockies and the other areas there. So be aware. Now, for Tuesday during the day, does show uh, still some higher temperatures in the southeast around Florida, some 70s in parts of southern Texas, so close to 80 in West Virginia and Ohio, and some other areas. It's still very cold in the mountains, even during the day in the northwest there. So be aware. Now, Tuesday night to Wednesday morning does show those very colder temperatures in the northwest, like I showed yesterday. If you're checking further in, those purple most areas like Wyoming might be close to like 5 Fahrenheit, 1 Fahrenheit in those very high elevations, even like 2 Fahrenheit or something. So in central Idaho, might be close to like 10 to 3 Fahrenheit in some areas, and the mountains of Montana, very cold southern western Montana. So be aware for like central northern Utah as well, those teens and single digits in the mountains, and in Colorado, those areas. Now, day 3, Wednesday during the day, does show like still some the colder temperatures in the northwest there in the mountains. This is during the day, shows very cold temperatures in Wyoming, Colorado. Those there are some teens and 20s in the mountains, and still some 80s and 70s in the southeast, those eastern areas. Now, here for Wednesday night to Thursday, let's see if it loads. So this like around 4 5 a.m. on Thursday morning does show those very cold temperatures in the northwest there, and still some 70s in the south, some 30s and 40s in the northeast, and some areas. So let's just see a little bit closer here, like Wyoming and those areas. This is like around near Thursday morning or something. Show like 1 Fahrenheit in Wyoming, 2 Fahrenheit, 3 Fahrenheit, 4, 9 Fahrenheit, 7 Fahrenheit in Colorado, so like 6, 7, even 1 Fahrenheit in the Rockies, 22 Fahrenheit, 10, 18 Fahrenheit in Nevada, northern Utah, less than 5 Fahrenheit. We like those very purple areas, even like -2 Fahrenheit, the highest of elevations in Idaho, very cold, and all those areas. So be aware. This is Wednesday to Thursday night. They're like Thursday to Friday night. Still shows some cold temperatures there, especially like uh, Friday morning. Still shows some 3, 6 Fahrenheit there, 5 Fahrenheit, 13, 10 Fahrenheit. So be aware in those areas. And uh, the rest of the US shows some 30s in New England too, some areas there, and more 20s in the north there. There is a little bit less cold along the west coast, but very cold in the interior mountains there, in those areas. And now at Thursday during the day, the idea show still some A is in the south, some 70s in some areas there, especially the Rockies, very cold. Now day 5 max next Friday during the day does show, let's see, those like colder temperatures in the Rockies, still not as cold as before, but still cold in New Mexico, Colorado, especially, and still kind of hot in Florida and Texas and some other areas. So be aware. Now, Friday night to Saturday does show here some, let's see, here, so like Saturday morning, November 9th, does show those colder temperatures there. Most of the western interior areas, so like 20s, teens in the northern New Mexico, many areas in New Mexico, some 30s, in Colorado, some 20s and teens, especially in the mountains, cold in Wyoming too, and Montana, much of those areas in the northeast as well. In the north, some a little bit colder temperatures. Now, Saturday during the day does show warms up a little bit during the day, but it's still kind of hot in Florida and some 70s in the southeast and southwest suburbs. Now, Saturday night to Sunday, like Sunday morning, does show some, let's see, it isn't available yet. So yeah, but that's far out. So let's see the 48 hours snowfall here. So today's Monday until Wednesday does show more snow parts of some areas of New Mexico, some high elevation, especially northern New Mexico and Colorado, southern Colorado, a lot there, and central Colorado, in the Rockies, and even outside the Rockies. It does show like close to 12 inches, even 16 inches, like southernmost Colorado and New Mexico. Next 48 hours, it shows more in Montana, even close to 20 inches in the higher elevations of northern Idaho. Montana, more than 20 inches, some high elevations there. Shows more around Wyoming, southern Wyoming, especially western Wyoming and Idaho, and more around Washington there, more than 20 inches, and parts of northern Oregon. So be aware. And 24 max wind gusts for like until Tuesday tomorrow shows those very high winds parts of Wyoming, southeastern Wyoming, some mountain areas close to 60 mile per gust or even higher. That's 60, so like 65 to 70 mile per gust, but it's 70 plus in the mountains there. Northern Montana still show like 70 to 75 mile per gust there. Not 75 is too much, maybe so like 65 to 70 mile per gust there. The high elevations in northern Montana shows more there around parts of central western Montana and on the north in Washington, some 50 to 70 mile per gust there in the mountains. So be careful. And like the warnings, still have flood watches from the storm central US, the severe storm, tornado warnings there already, uh, and the like flash flood warnings, some flood advisories and stuff, close to flood advisories in the Gulf, wind advisories there, other wind advisories, so like some small craft in Lake Michigan, not theirs, and those high wind warnings and watches in Wyoming and Montana, those high wind warnings, so high wind warnings in parts of Washington too, wind advisories, parts of the Northwest, winter storm warnings in Montana, northern Idaho, northern Washington, even some blizzard warnings in those higher mountains of northwestern Montana. So be careful, like the wind, some snow, some blizzard conditions there, and show like winter advisories, winter storm watch in other part of Montana, and show like some red flag warnings to California, some occasional coastal flood advisories, no high surf advisories, and wind warnings Southern California, so wind advisories the Southwest, blizzard warning Western Alaska, Southwestern Alaska, so be careful there. Some small winter storm and blizzard warnings southern Alaska too. Some winter alert advisories there. Winter storm watch, heavy freezing spray, storm warnings, small craft. So be aware those areas. Flood watches in Hawaii still. Some high surf advisories. and yeah, the stuff out there from the tropical cycle. So be aware in those areas. Some small craft near the southeast, Florida, the Gulf, and yeah, l- let's just click there in Montana, because if you click they show like more information here, the strong gusty winds, the blizzard warning, more information here, the winter storm severity index, some major impacts, parts of Montana and Idaho, and even some other areas. So yeah, beware. You can click on any place here to get more information, like in the place there, the severe weather in New Mexico, Colorado, those winter storm warnings, and even some freeze warnings southern New Mexico. So yeah, be aware. In Canada, they do have some the big warnings parts of British Columbia and Alberta, and some in Quebec there. So British Columbia is like wind warnings, bunch of wind warnings, because the system British Columbia, and all those areas there, all those areas listed here. So you can click on like the wind warning. They show the, what you can expect here for all of those locations. So please visit the site in the description and check here. There's like special weather statements too. It's so heavy rain with reduced visibility. Watch for possible washout near rivers, high winds. So be careful in all those locations here in British Columbia. In Alberta, some snowfall warnings in not all those locations. Those are mainly mountainous, but be aware you could get a snowfall warning there. Heavy snow to amounts 10 to 15 centimeters southeastern Alberta on Tuesday, so local amounts of 35 centimeters possible. So be careful in Alberta. Like Quebec, some freezing rain warnings, like I showed you the her, that those areas of freezing rain there in Quebec, in Fairmont, Pika Mountain, Etapa area, in those other areas, and Saskatchewan, the snowfall warnings, parts of Saskatchewan, southwestern Saskatchewan, even wind warning, northern Quebec. So be aware those areas. We do have the precipitation type here, shows the, all that heavier snow, British Columbia and Alberta, appeared to the freezing rain, that freezing rain in Quebec there, and yeah, it's still showing Tuesday tomorrow more freezing rain around Quebec possible, and some mixed ice and wet snow ahead of that from the more rain later in Ontario and Quebec, still showing freezing rain by Tuesday there, so some more wet snow, and yeah, so be aware. This is the European model, shows that snow goes down to like southern Alberta and also British Columbia, northern western Montana. There's snow in parts of Idaho Tuesday in the Rockies there. So be aware this goes there. And later, like Wednesday, gets all the way down to Colorado, New Mexico, Wyoming. That snow there. Later, still in New Mexico by like Thursday, and some other areas goes there. The system goes into Canada again, like Monday the 11th, shows more rain in Ontario, Quebec. There shows still more snow in Quebec on November 12th, with some freezing rain, some rain there. And it has like more systems around the west. So there's that system now. Shows another system on the coast there, like Wednesday, some freezing rain and some snow near southern Alaska, British Columbia. This goes on Thursday, still some rain around British Columbia, some snow and more rain there, even some freezing rain. Southern Yukon, northern British Columbia, shows this snow going to northwestern territories on Friday into Nunavut and more areas there. It shows another more systems continue on the west coast throughout this week, Saturday, still showing more snow there, parts of British Columbia and Alberta, northern Washington on Saturday, and yeah, even like to Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Manitoba next weekend. It shows still a big system on the coast next Monday, the 11th. So be aware. And this is just one model. The other models might have some different forecasts, but it's kind of similar too. So be aware. There's like the wind gusts from the European. They show those high gusts, British Columbia there. So be aware, northern Washington, I showed you, especially in southern Alberta there, close to like 96 to 100 kilometer per gusts. Northern Montana there, those very high gusts, and yeah, shows more the coast there, British Columbia, that goes does have some strong winds like Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio, and some areas of the Great Lakes. Uh, by like Tuesday tomorrow, that system goes to 44 mile per gusts, to like 48 in some areas. So be aware, he has the high winds central Montana Tuesday, like Colorado, Wyoming, southern Alberta still. Then like Tuesday, Wednesday shows some high winds in parts of New Brunswick, near Nova Scotia, in some areas. Then this goes out there, maybe some bigger seas as well. Does show like Thursday, actually like Tuesday, that new system in Alaska there kind of brings a little bit gusty into parts of British Columbia, and yeah, and some else. But now there's the system in Alaska now that does show more than 50, 60 mile per gusts parts of southern Alaska. Then this like Tuesday tomorrow shows some very high gusts southeastern Alaska, some snow, blizzard, and everything tomorrow Tuesday. So be aware those areas. Now Wednesday still shows a window through like Yukon, Northwestern Territories Wednesday there. Northern Alaska shows some occasion higher winds. And then this goes and brings another season near Southern Alaska, British Columbia on November 8th, Friday. Not the areas there. Show like a little bit gusty winds near Manitoba and Ontario. And yeah, and the Dutch like in Quebec and some other areas, some high winds, not northern New York, New Hampshire, Vermont around Friday. So yeah, and later more systems in Alaska there to watch in the northwest. So be aware in those areas. There's no accumulation that does show until next Saturday. Uh, More snow throughout like uh, let's see here first, like the European mountains all the way to 26 inches in parts of Colorado, 34 inches, New Mexico, most of central New Mexico, northern New Mexico in the next 5 days, a lot in Arizona too, shows more there, like Utah, shows Wyoming, Montana, those areas there, especially like Washington, more Montana, but be aware later this week in New Mexico, Colorado. The GFS has much less, but it does have some central New Mexico more, even Oklahoma Panhandle, Texas, and Colorado. It has more like Montana and Idaho, Wyoming, even some northern Minnesota. And there's the icon too. The icon is very crazy about Colorado. This is like 45 inches or something. Northern New Mexico has more, and even to Nebraska has some parts of the north. So be aware. And now here there's like it still shows heavy snow northwestern British Columbia because of these systems. But more there, not much northeastern British Columbia, more like for northwestern British Columbia, stronger gusts there. Not gusts, this is snow. Shows more like heavier snow there in the mountains. Some mountains of southern British Columbia, some more snow. So there's snow southern Alberta there, southern Saskatchewan, some snow, western Alberta, northern Saskatchewan just shows a little bit too, like northern Manitoba, showing some snow to northern Ontario, and also showing some snow like northern Minnesota into central Ontario there. It shows more around Quebec, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, and more snow those eastern areas too. And even showing tiny hints like New Hampshire, like northern Maine. So be aware. And here shows a lot in Alaska, those very high amounts, southern Alaska, the mountains, southeastern Alaska with that storm, a lot there. Not a lot, but like more there. Shows to 29 inches, 30 inches of snow, some areas, some seas there like 2 inches more, but with the strong winds can create those blizzard conditions. Shows more central Alaska, northern Alaska. So yeah, be aware. Shows more snow in parts of Nunavut, into Northwestern Territories, some Central Northwestern Territories, into like Yukon, some more snow, and yeah, so you should be aware in those areas. And the temperatures are still very cold. Yukon, British Columbia, especially like northern British Columbia, in Alberta, in the mountains, and in northern mountain areas there. This afternoon showing Quebec, uh, Labrador, those colder temperatures, a little bit warmer in the south, but not like hot, a little bit chilly too. So does show like tonight into tomorrow more cold temperatures for many areas there. Some places like Yukon close to minus 17 degrees. Um, that doesn't show much like Quebec and Labrador. Northern Labrador almost to minus 10, minus 11. But like southern Ontario, little bit warmer, and some colder in Newfoundland too, and those areas. And then this kind of fluctuates because of these systems, and shows like some cold temperatures Thursday, Manitoba, Ontario, and some areas there. Show some gaps, a little bit warmer, but it generally be cold in many areas. Friday morning does show some areas a little bit less cold, but especially along the high elevations, it'll be colder, and shows like Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec, and Labrador, and more areas there. So be aware, then it fluctuates more later. So this minute, stay safe with the severe weather, the storms. It's just let's not ignore Alaska because it does show some very cold temperatures too. Not in the islands because there's the ocean, but it shows like very cold temperatures central northern Alaska, -1 Fahrenheit, 20 to 34, and this fluctuates too. Shows some days might be a little bit less cold. Southeastern Alaska, southwestern Alaska, sorry. It shows, but shows very cold those areas, and